Hi guys! Oh my gosh. Okay, so welcome to the 5-day self-love transformation challenge. I'm so happy you're here. There's like almost 100 of you guys signed up for this challenge, so I cannot believe that, and I just can't wait to connect with you. So a little about me, if you've just started following me or you're not familiar with my work, my name is Stevie Wright. I'm a food freedom coach, and I help women ditch the drama with food and their bodies for good. And so what that looks like, when I'm working with a client, we work on numbing the emotions. We work on overeating, emotional eating, binge eating. We also work on self-love and body image and anxiety and worthiness, or the worthiness wound. And so it's kind of like an excavator. You kind of chip away at like what's underneath, because it's really never about food, is my belief. And so the reason that I decided to do this self-love challenge is because whether I'm working on body image or anxiety or any of these issues, worthiness, any of these topics with my clients, it always stems from self-love or the lack thereof. And so I thought, I have some tools in my tool belt. I have some exercises and practices that have helped me so much and have helped my clients that I really want to share with you guys. So we are going to spend the next 5 days together. I'm going to give you some of my best absolute tips and tricks and real life tools, embodiment practices that you can keep with you for the rest of your life. And they're going to help deepen your self-love practice. You're going to get more connected with your inner world, your inner reality, and it's going to be juicy. So I cannot wait. Let's go ahead and get started. So all I ask that you bring this week is an open heart, an open mind, a willingness to learn, a willingness to look at some stuff. There is going to be a little bit of homework, nothing crazy, but it's going to be asking you to just go deeper into the lesson of the day. And I promise you guys, if you go into this week doing the work, you will see a shift and you will really learn something by the end of these 5 days. I have my laptop here. I have lots of notes that I want to get through. This is not about being perfect. I do not pretend to be perfect. I do not pretend that we're in some beautiful studio. This is on my iPhone right now and we're in my living room. So I'm going to be looking at my computer from time to time to just make sure I don't miss anything. I have so much to share and I want to make sure I get to all of it. Okay, so day 1, we are getting to know all about the inner critic. What's the inner critic? Why would we start here? Well, we're starting with the inner critic because in order to heal our negative self-talk, we have to know why it's there in the first place and where it comes from. And if you haven't heard of the inner critic before, or you haven't thought about this concept, it's basically that mean inner roommate. It's that inner judger, the version of ourselves that is kind of low vibration. It's mean. It's the inner roommate that is unkind and naggy, and it gives us all those bullshit beliefs of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I can't do this. More often than not, that inner critic was developed and installed in childhood. It more often than not comes from parents, relatives, teachers maybe, kids that bullied you at school, but it really came in the ages between like 1 and 7, which sounds kind of crazy, but that is definitely where our brains are the most susceptible to our environments. And so that's the beginnings of when the inner critic was developed. It gets stronger later, but that's when the beginnings of when it was developed. And at some point, we were told, whether that be in so many words or in actions, that you are not good enough. And before I go any further, I want you to know with the bottom of my heart, with all the honesty in the world, it is not true. You are good enough, and you came onto the planet totally knowing the truth about who you are, totally knowing that you are not, what you do, who you are, who you hang out with, what you have, that isn't who you are. That doesn't define your worthiness. Your worthiness is innate. It was given to you the moment you were born, and your soul, when it came onto the planet, knows that for a fact. So it's really not about learning how to love ourselves or learning self-love. It's about coming back to the remembering of self-love, coming back to the remembering of who we are when we first came to the planet and we first were born. And yeah, so I said that. So, okay, so let's get clear on some of the messages you were fed during childhood. A lot of times my clients will say, but I didn't really have anything horrible happen in my childhood, right? Or, I mean, maybe you did, like maybe there was like an event or something that you struggled through or suffered through, and we can get into that. But sometimes people will say, well, I have had a pretty happy childhood, my parents are still together, or there wasn't some big trauma or big event that kind of shook me to my core. That is great. That is totally okay. This isn't about creating something out of thin air or, creating something that isn't there. But what's important to ask ourselves is that maybe there wasn't a huge event or a really painful thing that happened, but the messages we got still happened. And so a good question that I ask my clients, and I'm gonna ask you right now to ask yourself, is how did you receive love from your parents when you were a kid? How did you receive love from your parents as a kid? Did you crave your father's love more, or did you crave your mother's love more? So in order to receive love, I had to blank, right? In order to receive love, I had to blank. So let's go ahead and brainstorm together this right now. And just think of some of the ways that what you had to do to receive love and praise from your parents. So maybe it's, in order to receive love, I had to get good grades. In order to receive love and praise, I had to be perfect. I had to win at sports. I had to be the top of my class. I had to, be the best in school. I had to achieve. I had to be quiet. I had to be a good girl, or I had to be a good boy. I had to be a chameleon. I had to be tough. I'm not allowed to show weakness. One of mine personally, for my own story, is that I had to perform. So I'm a singer, and I remember several times throughout my childhood being put on display for my parents, right? Bless them, they were proud of me, but I was put on display. I had to perform, not at my own will, unfortunately, in front of friends and family and whoever came over to the house. And so I got such great feedback and so much, oh my gosh, Steve, all this praise when I performed, that I internalized that as, if I perform, then I'll get all this love. Okay, so we want to get clear on what it is. What are the modalities that we use to receive love as a child? Because what happens is those are still coming up as an adult. Yeah. Oh, right. So at this point, when you got this love from your clients, at this point, you decided that love was conditional. Love wasn't unconditional. Love was only when I did this do I receive love and praise. So that is important to know, and that's really hard, because if love is conditional, then it's always going to be hard to get. And if it's hard to get, then it's really hard to be ourselves, right? It's really hard to just relax into ourselves, because we're always trying to chase love and seek external validation rather than just being ourselves. Just with my own story, of course, I felt like as an adult, I have to perform in order to receive love. And so I've been doing this healing work on myself just in the past few months, honestly, where I'm realizing one of my stories, one of my walls around my heart, is that I put up the facade of having it all together. Maybe you do this too. I'm sure some of you out there can relate. I don't like to show my messy parts. I don't like to show the parts of me that I don't like, that are kind of crunchy and that I haven't accepted fully yet. But I have this facade, of performance, because I know that if I perform, then I'll receive love. It's all a load of bullshit. It's not true, right? I know that I can receive love just for being me, but that's what I'm healing right now. So it's important to understand that these are the ways that we receive love as children is the way that we are still showing up as adults. And just recognizing those, because if we can recognize them, then we can undo them and untangle them and heal them. Okay, I said this before, I'll say it again. We've adopted the idea that our worth is dependent on who we are, what we do. and it's not. Your worth isn't dependent on anything. It's innate. It is God-given, universe-given, whatever you believe in, whatever sounds right. It is given to you the moment you are born. And so for homework, for day one, we're coming to the end of day one here. I want you to do a couple things. First, I want you to write down all the yucky thoughts and beliefs you have about yourself. Why would I do that? That sounds weird. Because this is called release writing, and it's really an exit route from all of, it's kind of like a state change. It's like if you're spiraling, just getting it all out, getting it out. It's kind of like a brain dump. And the purpose of this, well, first, before I say the purpose, is like the point of this is you want to go really fast, just like get it out. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Yuck. All the thoughts, just 2-3 minutes, just get it all out. The point is to just get it out of your body, all that negative stuck energy, and go fast, write really fast. Your hand can hardly even keep up with you, so that it can kind of clear. And then I want you to rip it up, and I want you to throw it out. Burn it if you want to get dramatic, I don't care. But just rip it up and get rid of it. And then the second piece is that I want you to write yourself a love letter. Go slow with this. Really take time. Put it in the first person. I am statements. I love you. I am enough. I am doing the best I can. I am divine. I am a divine being of light and love. Whatever resonates with you, make it 2-3 pages. Put on some soothing music, light a candle, and go slow. Write your love letter to yourself. The kicker of this is that I want you to record yourself reading this letter on your voice memos so that you can come back to this and listen to that letter anytime you want. Hopefully a couple, 2-3 times a day, at least this week, if not forever, right? So that is your homework. Get it all out, yuck, all the negative thoughts, and then write a loving letter, record it on your phone in your voice memos, and listen to it a few times every day this week, okay? Yes, so that is your day one. That is your lesson for the inner critic, day one of the Self-Love Transformation Challenge. Remember that there is a huge prize at the end of this week. I'm giving away a free 3-month coaching package. That's huge, you guys, and that's worth a lot of money. All you have to do, if you don't have to do this, you don't have to participate in this if you don't want to, but if you do want to be entered, you have to participate by posting your experience on Instagram, whether that be on your feed or your stories, and use the hashtag Self-Love Transformation Challenge, and then tag me at StevieLWright_. And that will put you into the running to win that prize. You do have to do that every single day with all the exercises, but it'll be worth it because free coaching. Hello. Also, at the bottom of this email, there is a link to a meditation I recorded called Remembering Who You Are, and it's the perfect complement to the work we're doing today. So do that piece of homework, listen to that meditation, and you'll be set to go for day 2. Yeah, I can't wait to connect with you guys and hear your experience of day 1. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.